Now that you have this going on in the Ironheart series, is that going to make the character of Riri Williams like someone that Dr. Doom now searches out because there's someone who's doing what he is doing? If he is a character who needs someone who understands both magic and science in our world, that might be Riri Williams.
I think they are taking the Mephisto part out, especially with her occult friend. I was like, oh, she's going to bring the one that brings her a spell, or it's going to be the Hood that's like, I have the spells on my back. Like, he's going to be
I just leaned up against the hot radiator ones. These aren't spells. This is just a burn.
Girl, it hurts.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. Marvel released a new trailer for the upcoming Ironheart series that shows our girl Riri Williams incorporating some magic into her Ironheart suit with some runes that I think look very Scarlet Witch coded. Could this mean the series is more closely tied to upcoming big bad Dr. Doom than we previously anticipated?
Oh no!
What is this, Jess?
This is a sneak peek, the weekly show here at New Rockstars where we talk about the future of fandom with me, Jessica Clemons, and this guest, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm Brandon Barrick. I snuck onto this show. I snuck a puck onto the sneak peek after making a run-in on Rumor Rundown last week. It's all blending into my head.
It's all blending in, and you were very close. I felt like you were close to saying something.
Snuck a puck?
I don't know. It feels like it's not close to a slur, but it felt like it was about to be one.
It definitely was not close at all.
I don't think it was close to any, but it sounded like
it was more close to a curse word, I would say.
Well, I'm just saying.
You're making me look bad on the internet.
Your days are numbered on Sneak Peek. Just keep that in mind.
I know. Another white guy goes down on the internet.
Cancel.
That's right. You may have seen we're very close to the release of Ironheart, and as we get closer and closer, Marvel's finally putting out trailers for the show. They put out a new trailer this week that had these images of like runes in red, and then Ironheart standing in them, and like the magic coming into her suit, and then a heads up display with like runes in it. Science and magic squished together? How is this possible?
Yeah, can't one defy the other? But can't one also defy the other?
Right, and she's a smart girl. She went to MIT. Do you think she's like, magic? That's crazy.
That's crazy. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
But also, she saw Doctor Strange, a bus in half in New York City.
Exactly.
You know?
I was like, keep in mind, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe where like, I love that James Gunn mentioned this about the Metropolis. He was like, the people are used to super people here.
Right.
Like a shark head person walking by is just a celebrity to these people.
Right.
So her being like, maybe it's time I should just go to the book. The book
that
Wanda was using.
It actually works.
Honestly, I'm surprised that a lot of scientists in the MCU aren't like, you know what? What if we just go get that magical rock that's in the middle of this place?
Does David Copperfield still do shows in Las Vegas?
No, there's no Penn and Teller. There's no David Copperfield.
Penn and Teller, like, we're
Chris
out.
Angel's still there though, because he's just.
Chris Angel's like, I have the Darkhold, and I can do magic.
Okay, sorry to be a side noter, but that's basically the character in She-Hulk, that one guy that was...
Oh, right.
Well, it wasn't Johnny Blaze, it was...
Wasn't it like Donnie Blaze?
Donnie Blaze, it was Donnie Blaze. That was basically their Chris Angel.
Yeah. So we got these new images in the trailer, and, they kind of were quite surprising, I think, especially because we don't think there were any reshoots done for this series. Like, this series shot way back in 2022. They were still shooting it when Eric and I saw the first clips that they released at D23 in August of 2022. The show wrapped production in November of 2022. I looked around. There were rumors of reshoots, but I couldn't find any, like, I couldn't find any real evidence of reshoots actually taking place. Only like rumors that they were gonna do reshoots. But I think those rumors came because the show got delayed so long, right?
And additionally, the show takes place in Chicago, which we really haven't touched on in the MCU except for during Victor Timely. So nothing in this show should actually affect what's happening in New York or in LA or whatever. They could feature those people. They could even feature like news clippings, but nothing really big in Ironheart is going to ripple that much of the MCU. And plus, it is Marvel Television, which they don't want that to happen.
Right. They usually keep them separate. Yeah. For the most part, there's been some tie-ins to the movies from the TV shows, but they really do keep them fairly separate.
And that's why I think there were no reshoots done, because they were like, oh, everything that's in this doesn't affect anything, and anything in the outside world is not affecting this show. So I think we're fine to push this through without the reshoots.
Yeah. And, to be fair, they do a good job, makeup artists, all that stuff, making people look similar when they have to do reshoots months later. But thinking that would have to have potentially done reshoots like years after they shot this series. That can be tough to make your actors like still look the same. Yeah. So they have the blurring tech and they can fix the face. I don't know.
If anything, they probably just removed. They just removed things.
Right. I think they move things around, and they can certainly add things in like post-production, right? So looking at some of these images, right, there's this like big area on the floor where there's like all these runes and all in red, which to me, you know, we have the Hood, who we know is a character that's like steeped in kind of magic. And we've seen the shots in the trailer of like Anthony Ramos's character having like the kind of tattoos on their back and the red veins kind of creeping out from it. So a lot of that red energy. But then there's like also a shot of like Riri Williams on the floor kind of painting these runes, which I think make that display we see on the floor eventually. And her suit, standing on them in her suit, and it's like, looks like it's going in, and then on her heads up display she can kind of see her regular data of her suit, but then also this like kind of magical rune element. This feels like probably towards the end of the show, right? She combines magic in her suit.
It could be.
Weird way.
What I think is really interesting, which I'm going to take your computer and type this in really quick. If people are just listening, you are going to be crazed about this.
This is good content.
So there's the poster that came out for Ironheart that has Ironheart's suit behind her lit up, like the eyes are lit up, and so is what would have been her like heart part is kind of lit up, but it's severed in half. Yeah. But it clearly is very spooky. It's very scary. It looks like there's something haunting
there's
or
chains. That looks like it's the guts of it kind of spilling out.
And it looks like it's either controlling her or she's working in tandem with it. But more so, it looks like the harbor of death behind her, like personified into her outfit.
If like that's supposed to be her suit, why is it so creepy?
Yeah, right? 100. And I think that has to do with these magical spells that are going to be happening. So if the same spells that inhabit the cape that is going to go to the Hood is also used as the same spells that could inhabit her suit, that means her suit could become like a sentient, disgusting monster.
And she has to like battle her own suit.
Yeah, there's a part in the teaser or the new footage where what's his name says, Han Solo says something like, you should take it apart. I think you should do what your dad does and take it apart and figure it out. And I think she's going to try taking it apart and realize this thing is possessed. And not like possessed. I think that sounds a little cartoony, but it's going to be like, she's not going to have as much control over it as she thinks she's going to.
Right. And that's Alden Ehrich's character.
Alden Ehrick, yeah.
Who we believe is playing Obadiah Stane's son.
Yeah.
Or grandson? I guess just son.
Yeah.
Although when did Obadiah have this kid? Very late.
In secret.
Maybe he had his sperm on ice.
Hey, there's a lot of dads that just leave.
Yeah,
and Obadiah would have absolutely been that one. The
actor is old enough to have been a young child.
Oh yeah.
Obadiah never talked about.
He would have easily been 10 because it's also Iron Man 1 came out so long ago.
You think maybe it was like a secretary he had like an affair with?
Damn Obadiah.
Oh, hi son, I gotta go to the office. Listen, don't tell anyone I'm your dad. Also, don't use my name.
I was gonna make.
I brought you a pizza from New York.
Oh my god! I was gonna make a box of scraps joke, euphemism of it, and then I was like, nah, he doesn't deserve it.
Your mom's a real box of scraps. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm done paying child support. But yeah, that would be. I think that's interesting and a tell from here. But it's so. Have we seen anything of the sorts of something like that? Like even Iron Man suit, but Spirit taking over. Oh well, I guess that's literally what White Vision is. White Vision is the creation of Wanda. He was
created, well, yes.
His body is that, but the way his mind got reversed back was through the power of Wanda.
Wanda's conjuration of Vision in the Hex was able to plant his memories into White Vision.
But it's his memory, but it's Wanda's visions of Vision. It's Wanda's
whatever
version.
Wanda created in that moment, he put. So yeah, he is kind of a mix of science and magic.
Oh, so then we could be coming. That Vision Quest could come to terms with.
Yeah,
this.
Let's break out how this works out, right? Let's start from the beginning, right? Thor in Thor's movie, the first Thor.
Yes, keep going.
There's a great line of dialogue that I think was so smart at the time. I remember hearing it at the time and thinking like, this is a great way of just kind of like hand waving away a lot of stuff, right? Thor says to Jane, your ancestors called it magic, but you call it science. I come from a land where they are one and the same. I always thought like, oh, what a great line of dialogue to just kind of like brush away some stuff, kind of gloss over how science and magic will work together. And it does make a lot of sense. And there is like an old quote too that like, magic is just like science we don't understand. Like in the past, right? People explain things through magic that eventually would be explained scientifically. but they just didn't understand it. So to them, it was like magical, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you went back in time and showed someone your iPhone, they would think it's magic, right? They wouldn't understand computer chips and all that stuff. So Thor comes from a world where there is kind of magic and science mixed together, and that's like that Asgardian magic. We saw it a little bit in the Thor movie when they're trying to do. I think in the second Thor when like Jane is sick and they put her in the machine and they're using like both Asgardian magic as their medicine. It's kind of like a mix of the two. Like Frigga brings in a lot of magic. There's also like the Odin Force, which is like a type of magic. And that's all just like kind of Asgardian magic.
Would you consider like Wakandan's vibranium, the flower, as where magic meets?
Yeah, that's a little bit of it too, right? Like it is an organic plant that was like imbued with energy that came from the meteorite that crashed, right? The vibranium meteorite. But that is, in a way, it's almost like, organic material becoming like enhanced through cosmic energy. And that's the big question. Is cosmic energy magic, right?
But the fact that it also connects you to a plane of non-existence that is where your ancestors are dead, and then you bring in Bast.
That's the magic part, right?
That's the magic part. I'm like, the magic part is Bast and all the spirits.
I mean, that gets into an even deeper philosophical question, Jessica, where the MCU has established afterlives. They are real things. They have established the idea of souls, right? In Shang-Chi, you could watch the soul suckers
100.
literally peel someone's soul out of their body. We as humans right now, the soul is a concept we came up with to explain our consciousness and how it works. And like, is a soul a real thing? I don't know. I got no evidence for you. But in the MCU, a scientist could just throw his hands up and be like, listen, there were these creatures and they came and they pulled souls out of people's bodies and I don't know how to explain it, but it happens. Yeah. So yeah, the MCU is more tapped into magic than we are, certainly, and they have like much more evidence of it being a real thing. I mean, Riri Williams is able to paint runes on the ground and then have that magic like get into her suit.
I think the more telling part is the fact that it doesn't take a magic person to be able to use the magic, which we did learn with Donnie Blaze and She-Hulk. Anyone can really use a sling ring.
Ned had just like, it was in his blood, right? Yeah. Ned picks up a sling ring and suddenly he's opening portals.
It's in his blood, but Donnie Blaze was kind of just an idiot that got one again and was like, I can do it. Yeah. I feel like, it could be in your blood.
Pengwin learned how to do magic.
Oh, literally. Again. You could literally go do magic. So I think it's more telling that, but I also think that connection, and this is a very loose connection, I will say, because I have no actual facts behind this for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but there's a difference between spells that work with you, with like Agatha and all those witches. They were witches. That's what works within them. And then there's spells you can conjure, and those are usually connected to like demon activity. Yeah. So it's like it's not even a spell. It's like witches do spells. This is not a curse. It's something else. But I'm trying to remember what it is. Bop it, flip it. But I'm trying to remember what it is. But I think it's very telling that she's able to conjure this, which means it has to be not a witch, not a Wanda. It has to be a demon. It has to be something dead.
Right. And there are rumors on this show, right, that Mephisto might be involved in the story. That's who is giving power to the Hood. So if that is true, we could see that play out in an interesting way. I think the use of red here is very telling. That's something we associate a lot with Wanda, obviously, the Scarlet Witch. And like even her magic in the MCU, I feel was like a little retconned in an interesting way, right? Because when they bring in Wanda and Pietro in Age of Ultron, right? They call them enhanced individuals. They're not mutants because at the time they couldn't do it. So they're just called enhanced. And really, she's doing these things in the first post-credit sequence. We see her like she's just doing things with her hands and things are floating, and that's what it is. And they didn't really call it chaos magic, I think, until WandaVision, right? Even what she was doing was never really called magic until they got around to like WandaVision, right? They didn't even call her the Scarlet Witch, right? She was just Wanda Maximoff, and she was doing things, and she could implant things in your mind, give you visions, and then she was able to like make little blasts eventually, and like move things through the air, but they never were really calling it magic. We never had like Doctor Strange being like, who's this lady using magic? Right? Until around the time of WandaVision, they were like, all right, let's go all in on this. And I think too, even if you look back at the comics of like the Scarlet Witch, like chaos magic was always this kind of weird thing where it was like, she wasn't doing the same type of magic that like Doctor Strange was doing, Eldritch magic. She was like, in the comics, she's more like manipulating probabilities and like very early on, it was like, I can make you trip. You know what I mean? Like, because I can affect outcomes. I'm chaotic. So it's always kind of been weird how they establish how her magic works in a world where there's like all types of different types of magic. Because I don't think that what we're seeing here is necessarily chaos magic, but it does feel like it's probably going to be tied to dark magic in some way, which is another thing we have in the MCU, right? We have like both dark dimension magic and kind of dark magic. And I don't know how closely they're tied together, because in the Doctor Strange movie, right, you have Dormammu, and he's like, he is the dark dimension. He comes from the dark dimension, and both characters of Caecilius and the Ancient One are drawing on the dark dimension to use their abilities to extend their life, right? That's what the Ancient One was doing, secretly using dark dimension magic so that they could live for like a very long time. Caecilius doing those dark spells, tapping into that magic, getting the forehead tattoo. Like that was all like dark dimension magic. And that was kind of like purpley, right? That had like a purple color to it. And then when Agatha comes along in WandaVision, she's using like dark magic. She's kicked out of her coven for using the darkest of magic, for using the dark hold. And that's all like purpley also, right? Purpley and kind of like black colored magic. So like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that's what Riri Williams is using here, but I would assume wherever this magic has come from, it comes from like a dark place.
Yeah, 100%. I also don't think it's not going to be good.
No, it doesn't. They're not making it look good.
It doesn't look good, so we know it's a bad person or a bad magic. But no, I think, and that's the thing, is like it could just be, which would be kind of no, I don't think it's irritating at all. There is so many different forms of magic in the MCU. You might as well just address it. And we have not yet seen hell. And it's like, that is a magic, and that is a domain we have not really visited. We've only seen like a glimpse of it, maybe in Multiverse of Madness, but also a glimpse of it in maybe She-Hulk. We heard about the Goat Man that Madison met.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe we are getting into that place where it's like demons.
Yeah, because Mephisto as a character, he leans into humans' concept of like devils and hell, and kind of like plays that role to like make himself seem scarier, right? Whereas he's not really the devil. He's not like the Christian leader of, personification of the devil. He is like a demon who kind of taps into our fears and presents himself as the devil, but he is not actually the devil.
But that is who he is in the comics. And I could, because I also think this is also why Marvel haven't really actually approached Mephisto fully yet, is because then they have to answer more about the gods of the universe. And it's like, okay, if this exists, then this exists. Yeah. And I don't think they're ready to have Zeus. That. Like, there's Zeus.
There's Odin.
But they didn't put Jesus Christ for a reason. Like, they're not.
They mentioned a carpenter-esque dude.
Yeah, and we have literally Daredevil that's like, I'm very Catholic. Here's everything I follow. But they are like, we're not going to get too close to it. I think they could still hit it without having to hit it. But I do think it's a topic of conversation where they're like, okay, let's answer how much do we know about an underworld and how much can we touch on the underworld.
I need a moment where like Daredevil's fighting with other heroes and they all die, and like, the other heroes go off to like Valhalla and the field of reeds and stuff, and Daredevil's like left sitting there, and Daredevil's like, well, where's mine?
And they're like,
where's my Catholic? And they're like, oh, that one wasn't real, sorry. Sorry,
like,
Matt, you went with the wrong. There was a lot of other real ones.
We help those who help themselves.
Yeah.
And then they just walk out the door.
There's no Christian afterlife. But that's also the thing. There's no Catholic afterlife.
Now you kind of have to, well, depending on where you're taking Mephisto, what you want to do with him.
Yeah.
We also have Death wandering around who's taking and that's the person that's taking just random normal people.
They're just, they don't care what your religion is.
No, she's just like, I'm here to take you somewhere. And then we're going to see that somewhere.
And you had like Hela who oversaw, kind of the death of just the Nordic people.
Was she like the Norse Hades?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, in a lot of ways.
It's interesting. I'm more interested, not trying to go too much deep in Sneak. In Rumor Rundown, we also talked about gods, right? Gods and monsters. But going back to Ironheart, it's more so I'm like, why? Even if I believe it's a demon, why are you conjuring a demon for that suit. And can you go back to the image? I want to
Yeah.
see which suit it is, because she wears the white suit at MIT, and then she has the suit that she stops the van with.
Yeah.
And then this must be the suit that she
looks
takes to
pretty
Aldridge's
slick.
house.
I wonder if she takes that white suit and then like gets on the runes and it becomes red.
Oh yeah.
Right, as it gets imbued with magic or something.
Are they at Aldridge's?
That's her. I think it's in.
I think this is his bunker. I stayed.
Yeah, I think that's her kneeling on the ground. This is like an upside down shot, but she's kneeling on the ground painting those.
Also, I mean, I love you, Riri, but it's not that serious. If you can't create a suit and you're like, I need the power of voodoo in my suit, I'd be like, girl, maybe not.
Well, and that's the thing is like, is she pushed to a moment where she has to use this?
No, you're right. Sorry, I slapped you because in the
Right.
trailer they did show her best friend that works at a what is it called? The shop that's like
a bodega.
No, shut up. For like
a Barnes
cult,
and Noble.
like for the occult. The occult. She works at like an occult shop. She's a witch. She's a witch. Well, the character is a witch from Marvel Comics that worked with Doctor Strange, and then she just became like a sorcerer supreme assistant.
She works at a diptyque.
Shut up.
She makes fancy candles and perfume.
No, but they have it in the
a labo.
They have it in the like the set photos, like her little store that's a book and like witch occult shop. And I wonder if she's the one that gives her the spells
She's
to
like,
do this.
oh, by the way, you could just use these spells.
That would take out the Mephisto part, because it doesn't seem like Mephisto's probably going to show up anymore.
I don't know.
That was one of the parts they probably took out.
It would be interesting because when they conceived of this show, right? This is like right after Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and probably around the time that the Coogler's working on that. He's kind of developing this Ironheart show also. And at that time, right, the way Marvel was going, they were heading for, a Kang Dynasty movie, and then a Secret Wars movie. But it seemed that Kang was going to be the big bad in that series. And as things moved along and changed, right, this Ironheart show kept getting delayed. Kept getting pushed back. It was originally supposed to come out in 2023. Kept getting pushed back, and things changed. And now we're in like a Doctor Doom. We're heading for like a Doctor Doom led area where he's going to be the big bad. Yeah. And he's certainly someone who prides himself on his combination of science and magic, right? He's like a master of both. That's how he sees himself. He's a genius. He's able to build whatever he needs. He can build these Doom bots. He can build the armor, all that stuff. But he also has like mastered magic. In the comics at one point, he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme, right? He's very good at both. So now that you have this going on in the Ironheart series, is that going to make the character of Riri Williams like someone that Dr. Doom now searches out? Because there's someone who's doing what he is doing.
I will say, okay, I'm going to say two things. I think that is a great idea in theory. The first thing that attached to that, I think this is more, and I don't think they're trying to do it at all maybe, but I do think there is some credit to What If Season 3, and especially that we're getting White Vision, and especially that we have
a lot of Riri in that.
And they use a lot of Riri.
Oh, Riri
Williams. I love you. And they're using a lot of Riri Williams in What If Season 3, collecting pieces to make the best machine to defeat White Vision. Right. I don't think necessarily we're going to see her defeating White Vision, but I do think before Dr. Doom, White Vision is the one that interacts with her. Yeah. Especially if she is using some sort of magic that is linked to Vision. I'm not saying it will be, but we do know that Vision Quest is on a search to find himself and recognize himself, and it's bringing in a bunch of characters that could be considered his brothers and sisters.
Right.
So it's
his
like
AI brothers and sisters.
AI brothers and sisters. So it's gonna be a story in him being like, I'm just trying to figure out who I am because both my basic creations are dead. Like my creators, like Tony Stark is dead and Wanda's now dead, and he's like, I just don't know who I am. And if he finds that magic that sends him back to Riri, he's gonna be like, you're not Wanda. Right. You're not Wanda. But I do think it'll probably be, I don't think Riri's going to be as big as a target for Dr. Doom. He's going to be like, I could take your suit apart and kill you.
Sure. And we have to wonder, like, if wherever this Doom comes from, if in his world he has a Riri Williams. Yeah. All those questions.
He probably killed her.
But your points around White Vision are very interesting because, if he is a character who needs someone who understands both magic and science, in our world, that might be Riri Williams.
What she's doing right now.
Because I don't think Doctor Strange really understands. He's a doctor, he can do surgery, but I don't think he could build a suit.
He's Beast from X-Men. It's like he's a great scientist, not a good doctor.
Yeah.
Not a good doctor. Okay, so the second thing I was gonna say, the character that I could not remember that I was like, oh, she's a witch friend that has an occult store. The character's name is Zelma Staton.
Okay.
And she leads an altogether normal life as a librarian from the Bronx until she discovers the world of magic when she contracts a magical ailment. And then she seeks out Doctor Strange to help get that magic fixed out. She gets it all out, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that part's going to happen, but I do think she has a bunch of books on magic, and those are the books that she gives her.
Well, and we do know that Riri has a friend that in the comics she loses.
Yeah.
And kind of recreates her via AI. In this trailer, you can kind of see the girl is AI or she's a hologram or whatever. I'm wondering if at some point, much like Wanda, Riri's brought to a place where she's like, I want my friend back, and I wonder if magic can bring her back.
The funny thing is Riri's just so logical in saying that she's like, I know I can't bring my friend back, but I'm going to enhance this suit with some spirits right now.
Right. But if I can do that, maybe I can bring my friend back?
Wait a minute. So you saying I could put a spirit in a suit?
Can I put a spirit into my friend? People in the MCU learn about everybody. Is she going to learn about Wanda Maximoff and be like, wait, this girl brought her kids and her husband back?
She knows. That's the thing is like most of the MCU knows Wanda as that villain. They're like, oh, that woman that blew up that one building? Like,
yeah.
So I'm sure she's like, oh, that woman that took over New Jersey?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know if I should be doing this. Right. This is not for me. These are interesting drawings. I love this. I love this idea. I'm very much on, since it's Marvel Television. Brad Winderbaum has mentioned that like they don't want it to be a show like Marvel Television shouldn't be shows that you have to do too much homework on. Mainly he said that for Echo, that was a Marvel Spotlight, but I think the sentiment still works for Marvel Television, and it's not going to ripple too much for the MCU. Necessarily. So I could see White Vision for Vision Quest, the series, being somehow tied to this.
Tied into this.
I think they are taking the Mephisto part out. I especially with her occult friend, I was like, oh, she's going to bring the one that brings her a spell. Or it's going to be the Hood that's like, on my back, I have, like jailbreak or whatever. Right. Like, I have the spells on my back. Like, he's going to be.
I just leaned up against a hot radiator once. These aren't spells. This is just a burn.
Girl, it hurts. But I think I think that's the part they've taken out.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, at this point, if you don't, they didn't even tease it in a trailer.
And dropping 3 episodes at first, and then 3 episodes maybe weekly.
Yeah.
I don't think those are
only
Mephistos.
6 episodes. Yeah.
Unless he's a post-credit, like, of the last episode.
I mean, they might have cut him out if they've decided, like, let's tie this into Doom somehow, and we'll just remove the Mephisto part and we'll explain it all later. Or, if to your point, if it's her friend who gets her into the occult.
But I will say, mysteriously,
you don't think it's her friend that introduces her to the Hood, right? You think
the Hood finds her.
The Hood finds Riri, makes her do the saw test.
Makes her do the hostile test.
I want to play a game. And then maybe she's talking to her friend later, and her friend's like, "Oh, you want magic? I got books on magic. You don't got to talk to this creepy guy in a hood.
I got books on magic. What about this guy in the hood?
I work at an occult shop."
But I do think maybe in what we think is bad magic, she might be imbuing her suit in order to fight the Hood.
Okay.
Because there are scenes of him shooting that gun at her, and she's like, "What?"
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, clearly he literally has a gun with magic. And she's like, I need a gun with magic.
Is that in What If? Why does that sound familiar?
Are you thinking of the Hood that was actually in What If?
No. I'm thinking of like either Doctor Strange or someone like imbuing things with magic and people. No, it was in Spider-Man No Way Home, right? Doesn't they imbue his suit with magic so that he can like fight?
I don't remember that.
Am I making that up? Is that great? No.
It sounds like something.
When he has to catch all the villains to get them into the cages in Spider-Man No Way Home, they put a little magic on Spider-Man's suit that he can like, when he webs them, they like appear in the. I might be making that up. No, that's what happens in that movie. I'm having a fever dream.
Clearly.
But yeah, that makes a great point. Like she needs someone with magic. She needs to put magic into her suit in order to fight someone with magic.
Yeah, it makes sense because it's like the Hood is and that would fight the technology versus magic because it's like it's not really magic versus technology. It's this guy has a magical gun. I need a magical gun. So it's both. Let's like interlace magic and technology to fight each other.
Right. It's all science, baby. Now, of course, they've been asking, Dominique Thorne as she does press for this show, like, oh, we're going to see you in Doomsday. We're going to see you in Secret Wars. the direct asked her about it, and she, her quote was classic. She said, "Oh, what can I say? The odds might be in our favor. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see."
My girl.
Answer, right?
I will say, if she does get a magic suit, an enchanted magic suit, that would be good for Doomsday.
Yeah, and I think any young characters right now in the MCU, and not that Riri Williams is Dominique Thorne is not that young anymore. Time is flying by. You have to remember, she auditioned to be Shuri.
Yeah.
In the first Black Panther movie. That's how long she's been sitting around.
Her and Haley Steinfeld are aging. Haley Steinfeld just got married. I'm like, these women are both about to be 30.
I know. But I think we will see more of Riri Williams. It would make sense to include her in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. It seems like most of the younger cast they're saving for Secret Wars.
100.
So I think it's possible we'll see her in Secret Wars, and they could build towards that.
If she's in Secret Wars, I don't think it's that necessary, but again, if she does have an enchanted magic suit, she is basically Ghost,
and they have to fight Dr. Doom.
I'm like, she is a good component. I will say, just because it's a magic suit does not make Sentry less of less of an equal. Like, he will still devour you. But she has a better opportunity. I think she has a better chance than like Daredevil or like Echo or anyone else.
Oh, most certainly. And as you mentioned, she's used a lot in like What If season 3, which makes me think, because they were working on that show years ago as they were putting it together around the same time they're like developing Ironheart. They had to think like, oh, this character's going to be showing a lot. Let's use them here.
Yeah, 100.
Same with White Vision. And I think, we could see Riri in Vision Quest. Who knows? If they, especially as they kind of keep TV and movies separate, we could see them there. There's also rumors, if there's another season of Agatha All Along, that's a rumor that's popping up now. Do you think we could see Riri in that show? I think it's like she's using runes, she's using magic.
I love Brad Winderbaum was very proud of What If. He really liked What If. He was like, we are excited to bring like Jeffrey Wright, or not. We assume he's talking about Jeffrey Wright when he's like, there's going to be a character
in live action. Yeah.
To bring the Watcher. And also, again, we still get Peggy Carter. Like, it was like a big deal for us. And I do think there is some truth to the What If version of White Vision and Riri Williams. And I do think we're going to see it. Especially because the fact that White Vision has now been just like factory reset. He's listening to everybody. He's learning from his brothers and his sisters. And he's probably not understanding that like, oh, Ultron is a bad person, because he doesn't have that humanity anymore. He just has that weird like, I'm aware of things, but I don't know where I stand. And if he listens to what Ultron's saying, it sounds logical. Yeah. So it's going to be like, what if White Vision does become bad? And who can stop a White Vision? Well, we got Riri Williams in her magical enchanted like Iron Man suit. And she did it in What If twice. So I think she can do it here.
Okay.
I think that's also me. I'm like, if you want to keep Marvel Television together, you can keep New York and the Defenders together. And then you can give like Wonder Man, Riri, White Vision, all West Coast, Midwest kind of shit to deal with.
You think Shang-Chi's going to have anything to say about all this?
He should.
He's got a little magic.
The thing is, he should, but what the hell? I'll take those rings off you. Like,
he should let Riri check out the rings.
Also,
he's smart.
He's good with the rings. He's not his dad, who's had it forever.
No, his dad had 10,000 years of practice.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, he's still very new to those rings. I think he's very well with them. He's probably been practicing, but it'll be a different battle if he shows up.
Yeah, I would like to see like either Shang-Chi or even like Miss Marvel like use Riri as they try and figure out like the bangle, right? There's still the rings. We don't know exactly what the rings were calling out to. There's the bangles, the nega bands, like they have kind of magical properties. Also, do you let Riri Williams like look at this stuff? Is this going to get her more cachet as she blends magic in her suit? Or other, heroes going to like be like, hey, can you check out this technology?
Well, the thing is, she just knows technology. She doesn't know spirits and magic. Yeah. She's just like, I can just imbue it. It's literally that Rick and Morty episode with the devil. Well, yeah, I can paint it on the floor and paint, not blood. Yeah. It's the Rick and Morty episode with the devil. He's like, I can just take away the curses from these magical items. I think that's going to be Riri. She's like, I can imbue things. Okay. But it also, I realized I signed. It's like one of those things also where it's like, I did this spell. I didn't know that I sold my soul in doing it. Like, I didn't know what I was writing. I'm sure that suit is going to help her defeat the Hood. And then it's also going to be like, hey, so I don't need you anymore. And the suit's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna kill everybody in this suit.
Well, you're not gonna get rid of me. I'm
You
a
ain't get
suit.
rid of me. I'm a suit, bitch. Zoop, zoop, zoop. He starts walking.
Maybe the suit. I mean, we do know that Ultron will be returning in White Vision, or at least James Spader will be reprising the role.
Please
Could
don't
that be
give
the
him
end,
that suit.
The end of Ironheart is
You
that
know-
like the suit is just like hanging in chains or whatever. And like,
You know what's great about
like, boots
that?
up?
I've been thinking about that when I was talking about Vision Quest, because I was like, all these people have bodies, but we're not hearing anything about James Spader's body.
Right.
It's just James Spader's voice playing Ultron. And I'm like, please don't let him get a body. Oh my God. And the thing is, Vision Quest has been thought of so long ago that I could see them being like, it's gonna work in tandem with Ironheart, and we didn't have to change anything because it has nothing to do with what's going on in New York or Doomsday. Oh my God! If they give if they give Ultron that stupid body that's haunted, we'll be dead.
They could do it.
We'll be dead.
They could do it. Well, I'm excited to see what they do with this series. Finally coming out towards the end of this month, as Jessica mentioned, they're gonna drop 3 episodes on June 24th, I believe. 24th. And then we don't know how the next 3 episodes will come out, if it'll be week to week or if they'll just do another batch drop. But we'll have to wait and see. You know, when they showed me footage 3 years ago, it looked great. I'm excited to see where it goes.
As long as you put Supernatural in the MCU, I'm already on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so on it. That's why I was loving Blade. As soon as they want to bring in Ghost Rider, I'm in it. Like, Moon Knight, I'm in it. I'm talking about in it.
I'm worried they'll kill off the Hood. You know, obviously the cape can go to somebody else, but I'm worried this is all we'll see of Anthony Ramos.
I think.
What about like young Obadiah Stane Jr. or whatever?
He's a good boy,
except
for he's not good because
he's not a good guy, right?
He's harboring black market.
He's definitely like the bad guy of the show, right? Like
he's not like
he's a revealed bad guy.
I don't want to make him one, but he does have like literally like the black market tech. He's like, this is my bunker of literal missiles.
Yeah. Why don't you take it apart?
He's like, my dad's hobbies haven't left.
You gotta make a name for yourself, Riri.
In a box of scrap.
Yeah, I hope he sticks around. We'll see. I don't know. Well, next week on New Rockstars, you can look forward to tons of content as we get closer and closer to a big July full of movies. A couple of big movies coming out in June. How to Train Your Dragon live action. 28 years later.
Not to be confused with 27.
Not 27 years later. 28 years later. Might be doing breakdowns for those. But coming very soon, Eric's been working very hard on a Tenet deep dive. He's been doing several shoots across multiple months, putting together quite a show. I don't know if it'll be ready for next week, but look out soon on the Deep Dive channel. Coming very soon, Tenet deep dive. It's going to be intense.
Crazy.
I still don't understand that movie. I don't think you can understand it, but Eric has tried. Also, we want to remind you to subscribe to the NR Highlights channel. I mean, you're watching Sneak Peek right now, so you might not want highlights of it, but maybe you do. Check it out, NR Highlights.
All right.
As we wrap things up here, we got to talk about, Jessica, what we're watching.
Tonight I'm watching Predator.
Okay. Killer of Killers. I've heard great things.
I've heard great
I haven't
things.
watched
I've
it
heard
yet.
great things about Killer of Killers. I'm gonna watch that tonight. I'm seeing How to Train Your Dragon tomorrow.
Ooh.
But last week I saw 2 movies.
Okay.
One, Filthy Disgusting.
Okay.
One, Filthy Disgusting.
Oh, okay.
I saw.
Let's start with the Filthy Disgusting.
I saw Bring Her Back, a horror movie by the same men that did Talk to Me.
Okay. Not gonna watch it.
It stars Sally Hawkins. Sally Hawkins, the actress. Shape of Water.
I don't know.
The actress? I think it's Sally Hawkins.
This
yes,
girl?
it is. Yes, yeah. It's Paddington. I should have said first.
Oh, Paddington. Yes, I know Paddington.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, Sally Hawkins.
Okay.
I always want to say Sally Fields, and then I'm like, no, it's Sally Hawkins.
She did not return for Paddington, Peru.
How dare she? But that movie is filthy, dude. It is gross.
Okay.
It is gross.
Scary. I'm not gonna watch a scary
very
movie.
scary for you. I think it's fun. It's just like I was not ready for some of those scenes. And then I saw Life of Chuck.
Oh, okay.
Mike Flanagan's movie based off Stephen King's story.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, incredible acting. First off, starring Nebula, Loki, Mordo. I said I'm already in it. I'm talking about in it. It's so nice. It's a breath of fresh air. I will say the only critique I had, period, is like, ooh, it almost got there. Like it was emotionally, I think it's very fun. It's a very beautiful
Stephen
story.
King's short story, right?
Yeah. And I think it's very fun. and so sweet. It's so sweet and endearing, but it just like, ooh, there's a little bit missing, and I don't know what it was exactly, but it just didn't push me further too far. But damn, dude, those actors, they were Loki, Nebula, and Mordo. They
Tom
were
Hiddleston,
eating.
Karen
No,
Gillian,
it's
and
Loki,
Chiwetel
Mordo, and let me tell you, Mordo and Nebula were literally in character.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
but
Interesting she
I
wore
think
the
it's fun. I
makeup.
think I would wait for it to come out digitally to watch it. But it is a quick thing. And again, it's a story of sadness. So just don't prepare to be
Story of
happy.
Sadness, great.
Don't prepare
Love
to be
hear
happy.
it.
What have you been watching?
I've watched one episode so far of Netflix's Sirens with Julianne Moore, Millie Alcott, Megan Fahey.
Is that Megan Fahey? I love her.
It's very interesting. I don't know. I feel like there's something going on. Again, I've only seen one episode, so don't judge me. I feel like there's some sort of Odyssey, Iliad reference they're trying to make with sirens and like all the animals on this area where this woman lives. It's very strange. Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny in Philadelphia is in it.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
forget.
loving
Yeah,
that.
he's the boy.
Like loving it. But just very interesting.
It's
weird so far.
It's weird.
Very
I don't
soapy.
think it's gonna get better for you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna get better.
It's not gonna get better. I watched it and it doesn't get better. But again, just like Life of Chuck.
Okay.
The actors, dude.
Yeah.
Guess, and that was the reason why I tuned
Julianne
in the
Moore
first
is just
place.
great and like so interesting.
I will watch anything Julianne.
I
Julianne
know.
Moore. As soon as they said Julianne Moore, I was like, I'm already in it.
Yeah.
And then Millie Alcock, I was like, okay, I'm already in it.
She's great in it.
And her, and
Very
Megan Fahey is
different
her
from
sister.
House of the Dragon. Yeah, and Megan Fahey is just very, very unique role for her too.
I love her.
Because she's such a beautiful woman and like she's trying to play like a trashy.
I love it.
She's great. More trashy, but it's also like, okay, you're still beautiful. So watching that. Also, I mean, we should talk about it. Watched the Tonys last weekend.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about the Tonys.
We haven't talked about the Tonys. Someone who lives in LA but loves musical theater. Always excited to watch the Tonys because I don't get to see a lot of these shows unless they eventually go on tour, and then I get to see the tour cast, and usually that's a great cast. And shout out to people who do the tours because that's not easy. You're on the road. You've got less tech. You've got less of a cast. But you're doing a great job night after night in cities across the U.S., bringing theater around the world. So God bless you.
Good for you. And also they still.
But I also miss.
Things.
I wish I could see a lot of these shows on Broadway with their original cast. Wouldn't it be great?
Well, some of the people that travel get to be on the original
that
cast.
That is true.
What's her name that played Catty Heron from Mean Girls? I think she was a part of a lot of traveling ones. And
a lot of times, if they
Mean
originate
Girls.
a role, they'll travel with it for a little bit.
Did she originate? I thought she just immediately was traveling on other weird things.
Oh, I don't know.
But I do know the girl that traveled for our Mean Girls is now in Little Shop of Horrors. That played which one was the dumb one in Mean Girls? It was
I don't remember the characters' names.
Amanda Seyfried's character. I can't remember. Because she had the K. It's not Kat. It's not Katie. Karen. She plays Karen. She's doing great. Okay, but either way, the Tonys.
The Tonys, great. Love to watch it live. Definitely some sound mixing issues, I think, with the performances. It's a great way to see all the performances from the nominated musicals. Always fun to see those. They did a great little like Hamilton reunion, which was very fun. Cynthia Erivo hosted. I mean, she's an incredible singer. Don't get me wrong. She needed a partner for the comedy bits. Or here's my thing. Just don't do the comedy bits if you don't need to do them, right? Just let her sing songs. Like, let her do that. She's killing it at that, right?
To be fair, yeah, I'm not watching the Tonys for like the joke. Well, and she made a joke about it, but I was like, Neil Patrick Harris was really the one that forced that upon us to be like, I'm gonna be a comedy the entire time.
Well,
because I didn't get that from Sarah Bareilles and what's his name when they were co-hosting.
Hugh Jackman's hosted.
It was just like, let me perform and let me sing.
Yeah, Andrea DeBose, of course, has hosted a few times to mixed results. Angela Bassett did the thing.
Viola Davis, a women king. Look here. I don't hate you for that, but I noticed that you're not really in a lot of things anymore.
They let her give out an award, and she was great. She did a great job. But I mean, Neil Patrick Harris, go watch he hosted 3 times, I believe. Go watch the opening numbers from
My
each time he
favorite
hosted. They are incredible.
Broadway, you don't have to be gay to be in Broadway anymore.
It's not just for gays anymore.
That was the year of the salesman.
The one, I think the final one he hosted where he was like, let's make it bigger.
Yeah.
That one is just nuts. I mean, great stuff. And Cynthia did an incredible job. And as she was closing out the show, she belts out a cover from Dreamgirls, kind of playing on the like, and I am telling you, kind of playing out like get out of here. It was great. And it was just like, just let her do that. Don't make her do these comedy bits. They made her do a comedy bit with Oprah that just like wasn't working.
I would just watch the Tonys to watch her perform.
Right, exactly. And she's great. She's incredible. I wish they could have gotten Ariana too, though. Like, let them both be out there. Let them do it together.
Maybe it's the beef of like stage.
I think it's a little bit of that.
Because the last time she was on Broadway was for Annie when she was 7.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're like, get that.
They do sometimes have a chip on their shoulder. The theater people, they're like, they don't like the movie people coming in.
Could you imagine Beyonce showing up and singing at the Tonys? I love her, but I'd be like, get out.
You gotta do your, Springsteen. He did a show on Broadway, so like you can let him in. Beyonce's got to do a show on Broadway before she can perform at the Tonys. I'm sorry, those are just the rules.
Okay, hey, I
don't make the rules.
I get it.
But Nicole Scherzinger, incredible. Audra McDonald, incredible. Some of the other shows. It's also a good way to see clips from shows that, like, they're still great. Real Women Have Curves. Buena Vista Social Club, but like I don't know if those shows will ever go on tour.
Yeah,
I don't know what it'll be.
Same
like.
with Death Becomes Her.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, God, I would love to see that. I love that movie. I think that will go on tour.
I hope.
It's such a big show, and it has IP recognition. Now, I don't know how you do some of the technical stuff in that show on tour that they do on stage. I don't know if like this rendition of Sunset Boulevard will go on tour. Because it's kind of like a small show. I don't know if like maybe Happy Endings will go on tour. Because that one Best Musical, but it's a small show, small cast, but like technical in the way it has like kind of a moving iris on the stage, using flats and stuff. So I don't know, but I just recently saw Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on tour.
And you didn't like it.
Well, okay, Jess, that was the most impressive technical stuff I've seen done on a stage.
Okay.
In just throughout the show, just incredible stuff. The story is rough. But incredible performances, and just like incredible technical stuff. Like I wish more plays were able to like use all this technology and like practical effects they used, and like some very complicated things, some very simple, like a man lifting another man, but the guy in the background's hidden in the darkness so you can't see him. You know what I mean? Just like clever stuff that was very simple and clever stuff that was very complicated. I have heard that this like Stranger Things prequel stage show has like a lot of cool technical elements to it. I'm not necessarily that interested in it. I'm so kind of burnt out by Stranger Things, but I'm hearing great things about that show. So who knows? Maybe I'll go see that. But support your local theater. Go see. It doesn't have to be a big Broadway show. Go see whatever your community theater's doing.
I think I'm gonna go see. There's a little theater by USC that's doing SpongeBob the musical.
Oh, I've heard great things about. I was never a SpongeBob fan. I was a SpongeBob
fan, and I've listened to the SpongeBob musical, and the only songs I like are the Squidward ones. So we'll see. We'll see if I really enjoy it.
Okay. Well, that's what I watched this week.
Yeah. We should do we should put on a new Rockstars, like the Shrek musical, because there's only like 4 main cast members. So we could do it.
Well, they've pared that show down a lot. The original show is very complicated.
It was so huge. It was so huge.
They've pared it down a lot.
Or we can do the travel. What is it? The How to Succeed in Business Without Knowing.
How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying?
Without really trying, yeah. We could do that one. I did that one in high school, though. I don't want to do it again.
That's a lot of dudes. There's like one woman in that show.
Yeah, the secretary. And that's me. Like, and that's new Rockstars.
How did you guys get that many guys?
There was a billion. Oh my God. We had more guys than we had girls. That's guys
crazy.
Than girls.
They tried to do Damn Yankees at my high school, and they had to like
we always did
bring in all these dudes. I was like, why are you doing this show? Do something that's more women than men. Why are you trying to do Damn Yankees?
Damn Yankees. We had so many men. We had to do Damn Yankees. We had to do Hello Dolly. We had to do so many plays.
You're like, do South Pacific. You're like, why are you doing all these guys?
Not trying to out my high school, but I remember the theater teacher would always be like, Jessica, please. come audition, because he
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to do like these black musicals that had like one black person.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was very specific, like you had to have a black person.
Jessica,
And
we're doing Little Shop, and I need you to be all three of the doo-wop girls.
I forget which one it was. There was this one play that had like a black angel that was always there, and he was like,
Angels in America?
It was Angels in America.
Okay,
Angels in America. That's a baseball play. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of.
That's not baseball.
No,
dude.
I was thinking.
You're thinking of Angels in the Outfield.
I saw the Andrew Garfield Angels in America. Well, I saw clips of the stage play. I didn't see all of it.
The original stage play, that much like the original Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, was like a 2-show event. Like it was, you would either see it over 2 nights or you would see an early performance, go have dinner, and then come back for the second.
No, I saw those scenes. Anyone that plays those roles, oh my God, they eat it up on stage. I love that shit. No, not that
we
one.
We did do Little Shop of Horrors at my high school.
Were you?
I was Mr. Mushnik, the shop owner. And I had to learn to speak with a Yiddish accent. And I just kind of sounded like a vampire.
Offensive.
Seymour, I want you to work at my shop. And the director was like, just drop the accent.
Oh my God, close it.
But what? I'm doing it perfectly. Seymour Quellborn, so nice to meet you.
And that's it for the sneak peek.
That's it for this issue of the sneak peek.
We didn't even get into Peter Pan territory yet.
I was in Peter Pan.
Oh my God. So he talks about this all the
8 weeks
time.
of Peter Pan, 10 shows a week. I was Toodles, the Lost Boy.
Stop it.
Comment down below with your thoughts on who you played in your high school theater productions. Yeah. Special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Jesse Bush, who supports us at the executive producer level. Check out the new NR Highlights channel. Subscribe to that. Check out nerdriot.shop. Pick out some merch. I didn't mention it till the end of the show. Hey. So thank you for sticking around. Follow us on all our channels, all our social channels. You can find us everywhere. You love what we do, and we love you for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.